Okay, what is your name?
Joycelyn Durden El. Um, well, my occupation consists of a few different things. I am a certified herbalist. I am a yoni steam practitioner, doula, studying to be a midwife. So I'm all things, I guess you could say, in the realm of the things that I do. So a doula typically is someone who cares for women before, during, and after pregnancy. Typically holding a space for them mentally, physically, emotionally, just to help them throughout the different trimesters, letting them know how their bodies are going to change, all of the different things, educating them, just putting them in a good space where they're comfortable, they're prepared, and they are feeling bold and empowered to give birth to their beautiful little new one. So that's pretty much what doulas do in essence. For me, being a doula is about the connection of the divine woman, about helping women to rediscover the divine feminine energy that lies within ourselves, really digging deeper into our womb center space and actually what's going on, so that once we get into a place of birth or labor and birth, we understand these transitions, but we understand the womb of the woman just a little bit deeper. And so it doesn't take away from the process, and it becomes a beautiful, empowering thing versus something that's, painful and just, oh, hurry up and get this baby out of me. You kind of are able to settle in it because you realize this is my divine feminine energy. I'm, bringing life to this side physically. And you kind of just get into that space of helping, for me, like I say, helping women to captivate that and just tap back into the divine feminine energy.
What got you into holistic medicine as a whole?
I would say so. Life shifted for me in 2018, losing a loved one with to cancer, and just going through being in a hospital setting, seeing how quickly chemo took over the body, and just listening to a lot of what was going on emotionally, physically, mentally. How this individual was feeling. I was actually on my way to nursing school, and in that moment, everything shifted for me, and I was like, wow. Right? I understand that it has its place, but I'm like, but what can we do from a preventative perspective? How can we take care of ourselves? How can we connect with the body? How can we learn more about the body? How can we utilize the things that are given to us right here on, this beautiful green earth of ours to sustain ourselves, because it has to be something more. And so in that, my life kind of shifted. That, transpired for me in March. And in that, it's the same month that I opened my business. It's the same month that, my awakening really just started and my journey began. So for me, it was just watching the trials, and tribulations of someone else dealing with such a very aggressive, form of cancer, and just saying, what can I do different? Root work, understanding how to get to the root of things, right? Even when we think about mathematics, right, we talk about square roots and things like that, right? Understanding how to break down numbers. And if we think about science and those different things, even with the body, it's numbers, it's spirit, it's all of those things. So it's like the root. If we can get to the root cause of what's transpiring in our bodies, then we can essentially heal it. So if you know your body, if you know what's going on with your body, then you can heal it instead of band-aiding it by only dealing with the symptoms. It's what's the problem. If I'm consistently, having gastritis, what's the problem? If I'm consistently having heartburn, what's the problem? If I'm consistently getting yeast or bacteria infections, what's the problem? It's a cause to why these things are happening. I never had eczema, but now I have eczema now. What's the problem? So it's getting to the root. I believe a lot of people are hesitant about the practice because we have been kind of grown and bred to believe in a different system, right? And again, systematically, it has its place, right? Because technology has changed. We've evolved and changed, as humans. There are viruses and bacteria. These things have evolved and changed. But it would be one of those things where I would say it has its place, but let's jump back into who we are. A doula's work is so important because oftentimes women feel alone during that process, right? Even if we have individuals that are around us, we have the, partner or significant other, we have family, we have friends, only you're going through that process. And when you outlet with the individuals that are around you, you typically get their stories, they're good or bad, right? I have moms that have like anxiety through the roof because they've listened to auntie or cousin's story about their birth and their process, and now it's frightened them, right? So being in that space to be that outlet for them, being in that space to say, hey, let me call my doula because I'm having a really, really tough day, and it's not someone that's just saying, hey, it's emotional, your hormones are changing, it's pregnancy, deal with it, right? But understanding that, yes, pregnancy do cause these things, but we're currently pregnant, so we currently have to deal with whatever this mom is going through and dealing with, because essentially now we have another energy in her womb, and whatever she's dealing with and experiencing, so is baby. And these kind of things hold up the birthing process. These kind of things stall labor. These kind of things trickle down into even postpartum and afterwards. So having a doula there is like your own personal pregnancy BFF, before, during, and after. Even when it comes to fertility issues, we don't realize how draining that can be for that woman, right? Because it's what's wrong with me, or even for that father, or for that couple in general. So just being there and not having outside, people just not really understanding their words and how those words do affect us. But someone who's in the field, who understands, who's listening, who hears you, who's not sitting in the place of judgment, to just solely be there for you. So, because when we often think about teen pregnancies, right, we only think 12, 13, 14, 15. But technically, I was a teen mom, right? Because I was 19 when I had my daughter. So, in having her, that it was a challenge, right? It was a challenge because I had to be a mom, and then, I still have my own personal journey, but we can do it. It's not the end of life. It's not the end of the world. It's not chaotic, right? Things may have to change, and we may have to shift, and we may have to, of course, now put other things first, but it doesn't mean that we have to lose ourselves in the ability to be a great mom, or to raise, a beautiful, healthy member of society, a beautiful, healthy, son or daughter. That life doesn't stop, right? But you have to keep going. You have to keep going, and things in life happen. And hey, at the end of the day, our bodies are created to do this. We have of course, the stamps of approval when it comes to age and who should be experiencing what at what time, right? Because at 40, they say you're too old to have babies. But, that's a whole nother thing. So it's getting the education, putting yourself in positions, where you can get free resources, get counseling, right? Because I don't know what the circumstances may or may not be. It could be forced, right? It could not be. It could just be simple. Hey, life, then this is what the outcome of that was. But to make sure that mentally you're prepared for this process, because it is a journey. But it doesn't mean to lose yourself in that space. It's just to reach out to your village, reach out to the older women, that may be around you, reach out to some doulas in the community, reach out to some midwives in the community, reach out to those resources, because we absolutely want to help, especially when we talk about our generation 18 and under, 17 and under, right? Because you are very much so still in the place where you have needs. And so we have to make sure that you and baby are well. So I would say just reach out, just talk. Don't shut down. Don't think life is over. Don't think that it's the end all be all, that this is just it, that you're just a statistic. Our bodies are created to do this. We just have to know it creates another responsibility, and it may take away from some things, but it doesn't mean that it's forever, right? You just have to keep going, Like I said, my daughter, she's 20 now, but having her at 19, looking back, it was hard, but I didn't stop. I still had I still went to school when I could go to school. I still worked. I still provided. I still did everything I needed to do. Father in the picture, her grandparents in the picture. It was just, I kept going. I didn't allow the outside world to tell me that because I'm a mom, my life is over. That's the most beautiful gift that one could receive. Ask someone who can have one. You know what I mean? So it's just get the resources that you need and know that this is not a fail. It's not a life is over. It's not a death sentence. It's not a things that people kind of scare us into when we think about this process. We have to start educating our young sisters and our young brothers to let them know what their bodies do. And when you do this is the effects of that. And it doesn't then become a stigma, right? Because this is natural. But how do we make sure that you're ready and you're prepared if that was something that happened? Because to be honest, I knew that I don't know what it was, but I felt like I was supposed to be a mom. So when I hear or I see young ladies and they have this desire to be a mom, it's like we can't take that desire away from them because we don't know what energy is trying to come through their vessel, right? But just being the multitude and the village to help with those thoughts and to make sure that we're able and we're ready, to do a thing. So that's what I would say to young moms, young dads, just anyone that may be experiencing that and thinking like, man, I can't do nothing else. I can't go to college. I can't run track. I can't play ball. I can't be an actor or actress or a cook or a producer or whatever it is. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So keep going.
All right, last question. Do you have any other additional comments that you want the world to know about you and your journey?
I think one of the things that I would like for the world to know is once you're called and you're chosen, it's kind of like no going back, right? We all have journeys. And even if they seem difficult, and at times we don't know that is where we're supposed to be, it's our journey. And I think speaking directly for me, it took me a while to get here and I questioned why did it take so long? But it didn't take so long. It was not my timing, but it was the timing. And so I think that will be something that people will learn about me is that time is so broad to speak to, right? But I am one of them people that would say, live your life. Live your life to the fullest. Be you, because that's what you'll get when you run across me. Easy breezy Joycelyn, who understands and still gathering an understanding of life and how to be and to coexist with everything in creation with me. So that's kind of one of those things. You just go get mellow yellow Joycelyn, that's just trying to uplift and be here to fulfill a purpose. And that purpose is to uplift fallen humanity, but to uplift women and young ladies as we continue to create in this society. So my website is vibrationsofsoulbirthing.com, and that's vibrations with a Z. My Instagram is Mama Soul, MAMA Soul _the Doula, THADOULA. And on TikTok, we're Vibrations, again with the Z, of Soul Birthing. And we can be reached by email at soulthedoulabar@gmail.com. And our phone number is 420-413-SOUL. So that's how you can reach me. Or you can put a bat signal out there, baby signal. I'll come.